አይደለም ወይ ሻሹ በላይሽ ዝናዬ በቅበይልሽ ሐር አይደለም ወይ ሻሹ በላይሽ ዝናዬ በቅበይልሽ ሐር አይደለም ወይ ሻሹ በላይሽ ዝናዬ በቅበይልሽ ሐር አይደለም ወይ ሻሹ በላይሽ ዝናዬ በቅበይልሽ የቀኑ ቀርቶ በአመት ባገኘሁሽ
Thank you very much. Give it up for the
Our
Agar
wonderful
Fikr.
dancers.
Wonderful.
Agar
Amazing.
Fikr dance group. One more time for our wonderful dancers who started us off on a very, very wonderful note.
Wonderful. Juste bonjour, rebonjour en Éthiopie pour tous nos délégués distingués qui n'ont pas de casque, comme la conférence dont la plupart sera en anglais. Si vous n'avez pas de traduction, levez vos mains et on sera là pour vous amener des casques de traduction. That was for my French delegates. Okay, so yes, merci beaucoup. So every time, dear ushers and even myself, if we have people that have hands risen, we need to give them tasks. Merci beaucoup. On va faire en sorte qu'on vous amène des casques. Merci beaucoup. Bienvenue.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for all those who need to get ahead over here, yes, thank you. We see you. Please keep your hands up, just as our ushers make their ways to you.
Thank you. So our ushers, please bring our headsets. We got a large francophone ici. Bienvenue. Wonderful. That said, maybe one more announcement for all of you that want to be connected to the internet. If you want the password is AIO 1 or 2. Alors pour tout le monde qui veut se connecter sur internet, sur votre téléphone, le mot de passe c'est AIO avec suivi de 1, numéro 1. Donc vous pouvez aussi vous connecter sur internet quand vous avez besoin. Yes. AIO 1 or 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, you all look wonderful this morning. And we know that you didn't just arrive, that I think you were here yesterday as well. So yesterday there was a golf day, there was a fitness walk that I'm sure many of you participated in. And then there was also a cocktail reception, right? Who participated in the cocktail reception? Everybody I see yawning, I'm going to assume you participated in the cocktail reception. So who in the audience took part in the cocktail reception? Let's see, show of hands. No one? All right, there we go. I heard you had a wonderful time, and it's so wonderful to see everybody here. We hear that there are around 1,800 registered participants for this conference, and participants from over 80 countries. That is so significant, and it is our pleasure, our honor, to welcome you to the wonderful city, our home, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Welcome to you all.
Welcome. Definitely. I know it's been 17 years since Ethiopia has organized this conference or hosted this conference. So it is our beautiful pleasure. And for those of you that have been here, I know you're going to enjoy this wonderful city. It's lively during the day and during the night. In some conferences, I heard it's Addis Ababa New Flower during the daytime and Black Rose during the night. So hopefully you're going to enjoy your stays here.
All right, so as we welcome a bit more of our guests, we ask everybody to please take your seats as we officially open today's program. And Yosef, what do you think? How about we introduce ourselves?
I would love that.
Yeah?
Yes.
So my name is not Yosef Fantu. That's my MC's name.
My name is not Ethiopia Tadesse. That's my wonderful co-host's name.
Did you see what we just did there? Yeah? Are you with us this morning? Can I hear a round of applause if you're with us?
Wonderful.
There we go. We were hoping to start, I think the dance started us off on a very energetic tone. We hope to keep that tone and that energy throughout today. All right, so should we welcome our distinguished speakers?
Yes. Let me see. Before we get set, just house rules and maybe a fun fact for those people that do not know. I heard the way you were clapping. Did you know, je ne sais pas si vous avez déjà la traduction, did you know that if you clap 1,500 times a day, that is all the exercise your body needs?
Did you know that? Fun fact.
Si vous applaudissez 1,500 fois par jour, est-ce que vous savez, c'est tout l'exercice que votre corps a besoin? Donc, dans ce genre de conférence, on vous demande quand on vous demande de bien applaudir nos délégués, c'est pas pour eux que vous applaudissez pour vous-même. Donc, don't hold back when you applaud.
So 1,500, was it 1,700?
1,500 times a day.
1,500 times a day. All the exercise we'll need?
Oh, yes.
For a whole day.
Gym. Yeah, no need
No
to go
going to the gym. Since most of our guests actually will be here with us the entire conference, then it is our honor to get you that exercise for your day. So 1,500 times, it seems like a lot, but not really, right?
It's not that much.
Possible.
For beautiful.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you've seen in today's agenda, I think yesterday was more about getting everybody settled in. The welcome reception was to welcome you to our beautiful city of Addis Ababa and to get the conference started. Today will be kind of the meat of this conference, where you're going to be hearing opening remarks, keynote speeches from distinguished guests and speakers, representatives from both the African Insurance Organization as well as our beautiful country. And then we'll move on to presentations, plenary discussions, parallel sessions. So I think most of you are looking forward to that. And we have many excellent speakers as well as very important topics lined up for you all. So we ask you to participate actively, because we will have opportunities for you to ask questions and to partake. So we ask you to please participate actively and be with us for the whole day. It's going to be a great day.
Juste parce que je sais que nos distingués délégués francophones n'ont pas leur casque encore. Comme vous le savez, les 2 jours de conférence aujourd'hui auront tous les discussions. On commencera les discussions aujourd'hui. On aura l'opportunité dans quelques minutes de commencer notre conférence jusqu'à que nos délégués prennent leur place. Merci beaucoup. Donc, on vous invite, comme on aura aussi la possibilité de poser des questions, mais on a beaucoup de personnes qui vont parler. On vous demande de bien participer, de bien voir pour prendre la chance de prendre la parole.
I think we still have a few people who are missing their headsets. So if you still haven't received a headset, can we see a show of hands? All right. We have a few more people, okay, scattered actually, over there, over here as well, and over there. All right, we see you. Just give us a moment as our ushers, they'll make their way to you. Okay, ushers, a few more people in this area, over there. Yes, madam up front as well, there we go. And the 2 gentlemen, I see you, all right? You've been having your hand up for a while, we see you. The ushers will make their way to you. Thank you for that. All right, so in the meantime, what we're gonna do is we're gonna teach you some greetings in our local language. Is that all right? Are you up for it? Yes? So I'm gonna say, "Endemen adarachu," which kind of means good morning. And all you're going to respond is, "Dana." Very easy, right? Dana means good. All right? So I'm gonna say it and you're going to respond. And I'm going to see who's with me. So, endemna derachu.
Dehna.
Come on. That was around, I think that was around 50% of the room. 50, maybe almost, 60.
Almost.
We'll try one more time. Endemna derachu. Okay, that was around 80% of the room. I need 100%. All right, one last time. Endemna derachu. Now it went back down to 70. What's going on? All right, thank you very much. Hopefully throughout the day, we'll be teaching you more Ethiopian greetings. You can also say salam if you want to say a greeting in Amharic to Ethiopian nationals as well. And so we'll make sure to be teaching you a few more Ethiopian or Amharic phrases here and there. All right.
እሱ እንዳለ ሆኖ ውድ ኢትዮጵያውያኖቻችንን በራሳችን ቋንቋ እንዳወራችሁ ፍቀዱልንና ከሩቅ አገር መተው እዚህ የመጡ እንግዶቻችን ከኋላ ቆመዋልና ለነሱ ከቻላችሁ ሌሎችም ክፍሎች ላይ በስክሪን እየተላለፈ ስለሆነ እባካችሁን ለነሱም ቦታ ለቃችሁ እነሱ እንዲቀመጡ አድርጉልን የኢትዮጵያዊ እንዴት አድርገን እንግዳ እንደምንቀበል ታውቃላችሁና ለነሱ ከቻላችሁ እባካችሁን ትንሽ ቦታ ስላጠረን ኢትዮጵያውያኖቻችን ከቻላችሁ ከውጭ ለመጡ እንግዶቻችን እባካችሁን ቦታ ላቆላቸው Dear ushers, please, we've got 2 people here as well. We need translation headphones.
All right, over there as well. Okay. So there is room on my right side for those of you who are still looking for a seat. There's room on the far right or the far left. Okay, we still have some hands up over here and still over here for, all right, I see you. Okay, we have a group over there who also hasn't received headphones. Our ushers, if I could please trouble you. Okay, sorry, but just one more time for those of you who haven't received your headphones. I'm very sorry. Okay, I think it's the portion on my right. Okay, I see you, lady in red. I see you. I'm sorry. I see your hand up. Okay, so over here, my co-MC took it upon himself to deliver the headphones, so Yosef, over here as well. Okay, yeah, over here and back there. For guests that are still arriving, there's some room over here. Okay, there's some empty seats here on the right. For guests that are just arriving. Okay. All right, in this area, okay. usher over there. On.
Okay. Does everybody have translation headsets? Est-ce que vous avez tous reçu les casques de traduction? We've got one here. Thank you very much. We are finally ready to start. Thank you. I see you too. So, ladies and gentlemen, kindly help us by getting up from your seats to welcome our guest of honors.
Yeah.
Mesdames et messieurs, on vous demande
Let everybody be upstanding as
de
we welcome
accueillir
our guest of honors for the African Insurance Organization 51st Conference. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be inviting our guest of honors to the stage. I would like to welcome His Excellency Ato Temesgen Teruna, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia.
His Excellency Ato Mamo Miheretu, the Governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia.
Ms. Patty Martin, the AIO President.
Ato Yared Mola, the Local Organizing Committee Chairperson and the Vice President of AIO.
Let's please welcome them with a round of applause as they make their way to their seats.
I would also like to recognize the Secretary General, Jean-Baptiste Tkumbazi. Thank you very much. We would also like you to remain seated up for the national anthems of the African Union and the Ethiopian national anthem.
Thank you very much. You may all take
Ladies
your
and gentlemen,
seats.
please take your seats.
Can we give one more round of applause to the wonderful marching band? Thank you very much. Good morning once again and welcome. His Excellency Ato Temesgen Terune, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. His Excellency Ato Mamo Miheretu, the Governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia. Ms. Patty Martin, the AIO President, as well as Ato Yared Mola, the Local Organizing Committee Chairman.
Yes, I would also like to recognize the Secretary General, Jean-Baptiste Nkuma Kazina, past presidents, past Secretary General, especially for the longest serving past Secretary General for 24 years, Ato Yosef Asafa, distinguished guest, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again.
It is our absolute honor to welcome you to the AIO 51st conference and to say that we are so honored to have participants from 80 countries represented here today with around 1,800 participants registered. And I wish you could see what we could see standing right here. You look so wonderful. It's our honor to welcome you to our wonderful city of Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
So to give the official welcoming remarks, ladies and gentlemen, kindly help us welcome the chairperson of the Local Organizing Committee and the Vice President of AIO, Ato Yared Mola, to the stage.
Let's please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Good morning. Your Excellency, Ato Temesgen Terune, Deputy Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Your Excellency, Ato Mamo Miheretu, Governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia. Madam Patty Martin, President of AIO. Distinguished delegates, esteemed guests, friends and colleagues. It is a profound honor and a privilege for me to stand before you today as we open the 51st Annual Conference and General Assembly of the Africa Insurance Organization right here in the heart of Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. On behalf of the Association of Ethiopian Insurers and the Local Organizing Committee, I warmly welcome each and every one of you, delegates, regulators, reinsurers, brokers, academics, and industry leaders. Earlier it was said that 80 countries and 1,000 plus, but today, as of today, ladies and gentlemen, from 93 countries across Africa, Middle East, Europe, and beyond, we are truly honored to host over 1,900 participants representing the very best of global insurance, thought leadership, and innovation. This year's theme, Balancing the Books, Africa's Debt Problem, Why Does Countries' Debt Impact Insurers, is both timely and relevant. As insurers, we do not operate in a vacuum. Sovereign debt levels, fiscal stability, and macroeconomic management deeply influence our sector. From the investment portfolio to underwriting risks, from customer confidence to solvency oversight, for Ethiopia and our peers from Africa, this conversation comes at a defining moment. Here in Ethiopia, the insurance industry is on a promising path of growth and transformation. While our insurance penetration remains relatively modest, we see a vibrant future ahead, powered by a population over 120 million, a growing middle class, an increasingly digital economy, and a strong commitment to reform. We have been fortunate to organize this event with the full backing of the government of Ethiopia. We would like to extend the government of Ethiopia our deep, deep gratitude for this. And I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to His Excellency, the Deputy Prime Minister, for honoring us with his presence today. Thank you, Your Excellency. And for the continued support of the governments of the financial and insurance sector. In particular, I would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to the National Bank of Ethiopia under the leadership of Governor Mamo for its exceptional guidance, encouragement, and collaboration throughout the preparation of this conference. From regulatory support to policy alignment, the National Bank role has been vital in making this gathering. Thank you, Mr. Mamo. Thank you, National Bank. The local organizing committee drawn across from Ethiopia's all insurance sector has worked tirelessly. And I salute you, every member, for this dedication, professionalism, and teamwork. Thank you, all the local organizing teams. This event showcases what is possible through partnership and shared purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, as you engage in the important deliberation of this week, I also invite you to explore Ethiopia and Addis Ababa, the political and diplomatic capital of Africa, and the final resting place of Lucy, our ancestor with 3.2 million years old, humanity's oldest known as ancestor. In this ancient yet rapidly modernizing city, you will find not only history and culture, but also energy, innovation, and hospitality. We hope your stay will be intellectually rewarding, professionally valuable, and personally memorable. Welcome to Ethiopia, welcome to Addis Ababa, welcome to the 51st AIO Conference and General Meeting. Thank you so much.
We also thank you, Ato Yared. You must be very proud to see this large group standing in front of you, and thank you for the correction of 93 countries, correct? All right, wonderful. So the next person I'm going to call onto the stage, when I saw her earlier, I was like, she must be Ethiopian. Because at first glance, she kind of looks Ethiopian, and you might also agree with me. So it's my honor to welcome Miss Patty Martin, AIO President, to provide her remarks. Let's please welcome her to the stage.
Director of Ceremonies, thank you so much for saying I am Ethiopian. I take it very well, and I accept that. Your Excellency, Temesgen Terune, Deputy Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, His Excellency Ato Mamo Miheretu, Governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the immediate past presidents of the AIO, the immediate past president of AIO, Benabilas Sheriff, past presidents of AIO, commissioners of insurance present, the Secretary General of the AIO, Mr. Jan Battas, incoming president and chairperson of the local organizing committee, Yared Mola, executive committee members of the AIO, dear media practitioners, dear delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the members of the African Insurance Organization, I welcome you all to this 51st Conference and Annual General Assembly taking place here in diplomatic capital of Africa, Addis Ababa. I would like to start with words of gratitude to the government, the governor, and the people of Ethiopia for accepting to host the AIO conference for the third time in 52-year history of the organization. Early professionals will recall, and I can see Mr. Jesu being here with us. I'm sure he will be one of the people who can recall that Ethiopia hosted its AIO conference in June 1982. Then May 2002, industry practitioners gathered here again to discuss on performance of the African insurance industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Ethiopia has beaten the record of participation. I'm glad to announce to you that this is the first time that the registration of the AIO conference has gone close to 2,000. I'm an accountant, so I round up. This is a clear indication of the vibrancy of the Ethiopian market, and is absolutely the right time as the industry is opening up. We thank His Excellency Temesgen Turune, the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, the governor, and the local market led by the Association of Ethiopian Insurers for the support we receive in putting this event together. I can recall when we were here in November, we were received very well. And we were told that whatever we ask, the support will be there, and we can experience it right here today. It feels good to be in this beautiful city, Addis Ababa. Unfortunately, we are in a beautiful place to discuss something less beautiful: the impact of our continent's debt burden on the insurance industry. The theme of this year's conference, Balancing the Books, Africa's Debt Problem: Why does country debt impact insurance companies and insurers? Calls for a deep and committed reflection on the part of the insurance professionals. Dear insurance professionals, let us discuss a critical issue affecting Africa's economic landscape: increasing debt and its consequences on the insurance sector. As African countries navigating complex economic challenges, it's essential to understand the implications of the insurance industry. According to the World Trade Organization, Africa's debt has been rising steadily and becoming increasingly concerning, and this is driven by factors. I'll only mention three, there are many. Infrastructure development, borrowing to finance infrastructure projects; economic growth, increased borrowing to support economic expansion; and lastly, global market trends, the exposure to global market fluctuations and commodity price volatility. Ladies and gentlemen, the figures on the Africa debt situations are not the best according to the One Data on online version dated March 11, 2025. I'll give you just a small history of it, and I'm sure throughout the conference we unpack the rest. 20 low-income countries in Africa are in or at risk of debt distress. 20, that's a lot. That is almost 57% of the assessed countries. African countries own $685.5 billion to external creditors as of 2023. African countries will pay $88.7 billion in external debt service in 2025. External debt owned by African countries is equivalent to 24.5% of the combined GDP in 2023. You will agree with me, those statistics are not encouraging. According to the United Nations Development Programme, public debt can be vital for development as governments used to do finance used to finance the expenditure to protect and invest in the people and to pave the way to a better future. However, it can also be a heavy burden when public debt grows too much or too fast. This is what is happening today across the developing world. You will agree with me that country debt can have severe consequences on the population, particularly in developing countries as they spend their revenues on net interest payments. Some of the consequences of debt on the population include increased vulnerability, limited investment in sustainable development, reduced spending on essential services, inequality and unfair financial architecture, and the list goes on. The current international financial system perpetuates inequality with developing countries facing higher borrowing costs and limited access to affordable financing. This can lead to a vicious cycle of debt and underdevelopment. Ethiopia offers us an ideal opportunity as insurance professionals to examine the impact of country debt burden on the insurance sector and propose solutions which will serve as guide to our respective governments and improve on the standard of living of our population. Meanwhile, you may note that when a government default repayments, its debt insurers are affected because when matured bonds are not repaid to them, it affects their liquidity, solvency, and profitability. Moreover, reduced investment deprives insurers important insurable assets, hence reducing potential income streams. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to navigate you through a few initiatives embarked on by AIO to bring added value to its member and play a role in the voice of insurance in Africa. I'm sure all the members would want to know what is it that you have done, Madam President, in your term, or what is it that you have followed through that others have started. AIO can proudly, I will mention just 3 or 4 because of time. We have the AIO Chartered Insurance and Certification Program. This project was designed to produce certification programs in key areas in the industry such as leadership in insurance, microinsurance, agri-insurance, insurtech, and innovation. And you will agree with me, the future is focused on those core areas for all our economies in Africa, as well as for the insurance sector. We have also proudly, we can announce today, a Leadership in Insurance program was launched during the 28th Reinsurance Forum in Cairo, Egypt in October last year, and the English part is hosted by the College of Insurance in Nairobi, while the Moroccan Insurance Training Institute caters for the needs of the French-speaking learners. We can proudly say that the first cohort will receive their certificates during this conference on Wednesday night. And we can proudly also say, amongst all the 3 streams or the various streams that we have launched, 24 candidates will graduate on Wednesday night. There's also another important initiative that we have started, African Insurance Data Repository. This is AIO Finance and Feasibility Study. The request for proposals has been out. So with financial assistance from Africa Re, the second part of this project, which is aimed at engaging a vendor for a software development, is ongoing. We hope to have this data on the AIO website in the next few months. Can you imagine yourself if we can have this repository up and running, how we can have access to data? And you will all agree with me, the data is the future. So we have another important project that we are also doing, which is the Agriculture Insurance Project. So this project, which will soon go operational, will train African insurance underwriters on areas such as product designing, pricing, and claims management. It is a joint project that we are doing with the World Bank. We have also regulatory framework reform. As the voice of the African insurance sector, the AIO is working towards a harmonized regulatory framework under the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement to facilitate business within the African insurance space. We again thank Africa Re for accepting to fund the project which AIO is conducting together with the UNDP. The last one that I have here that I want to mention with you today is our actuarial development. You are all very aware that we have a lack of actuaries in Africa. So through this program, the AIO facilitates training for young African actuaries by supporting the financial cost. It is open to young professionals from AIO member companies. I'm almost coming to the end. We have also AIO Insurance Mortality Table Facility. Now, life and health insurance pricing is a major challenge in African markets and has significantly impacted the growth potential of life insurance in most markets. So the development of an aggregate mortality and table for Africa will enable AIO members in each country to assess local mortality data so that they can price life and health insurance products accurately and fairly, hereby increasing insurance acceptance. Your Excellency, Temesgen Tirune, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, the Governor of the Republic of Ethiopia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the AIO Secretariat and the local organizing committee have brought together very seasoned professionals to lead the reflection on the conference theme. I wish to thank all speakers for accepting to share their knowledge and experience with the participants of this conference. I equally wish to thank our sponsors. Without you, this would not have been possible, for the immense support towards the organizing of this event. I wish to recognize in a very particular way. I mean, I cannot say thank you without having mentioned each and every of our sponsors. We have Africa Re, Ethiopia Re, the Association of Ethiopian Insurers, Ethiopian Insurance Corporation, YCAR Re, Atlantic Re, CDG Group, former SCR Morocco, Sanlam Alliance, ZEP-RE, TAN-RE, Ghana Re, East Africa Re, Finsbury Re, Maudi, Emeritus Re, Mainstream, CNC Re, Protection Re, Milliman, GIC Re, AM Best, Apex, Zika Re, FBS Re, GN Re, Avani Re, AXA, Re-Med Assistance, NCA Re, Actuarial Services, Continental Re, Santam, and I cannot leave out NAMIPRE. Dear delegates, I invite you to use this conference to network, to exchange and create business partnerships to promote the African insurance industry. Enjoy your stay in Addis Ababa, and I must add this part, do not forget to visit our beautiful historic heritage of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Patty. That was a comprehensive introduction to the conference, and I also heard you taking notes of the transformation going on in Ethiopia. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, the Governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia, His Excellency Ato Mamo Miheretu, to the podium.
Good morning. Your Excellency Ato Temesgen Turuneh, Deputy Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Madam Patty Martin, President of the African Insurance Organization, Ato Yared Mola, President of the Association of Ethiopian Insurers and Chair of the local organizing committee, friends, distinguished delegates, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the National Bank of Ethiopia, I want to extend a warm welcome to all of you to Addis Ababa. We are deeply, deeply honored to host such a distinguished and large gathering of the African insurance industry professionals here in the heart of Africa. The theme of the conference, Balancing the Books, Africa's Debt Problems, Why Does a Country's Debt Impact Insurers, resonates deeply with us. Public debt influences foreign exchange conditions and overall macroeconomic stability, all of which have a profound implication for the insurance sector. It also highlights the difficulty across the developing world of achieving macroeconomic stability at a time of considerable global uncertainty. Ladies and gentlemen, development financing is undergoing significant shift. Indeed, in a number of countries, development financing, as we know it, is almost collapsing. Many countries in Africa struggle to service large foreign loans taken out largely to finance infrastructure projects amid a series of negative international shocks. As a result, African countries from Kenya to Zambia to Ethiopia to Malawi to Ghana to Egypt are following a strategy involving economic adjustments aimed at boosting growth and support from international financial institutions and a rescheduling of debt or payments to their creditors. But given the level of international coordination required, implementing it successfully is no easy feat, especially at a time when capital markets are cautious, geopolitical tensions are deepening, and demand for AFI funding is rising. For insurers, sovereign debt levels are not just numbers on balance sheet. They shape investment strategies, asset liability matching, and of course, consumer confidence as well. Addressing debt challenge is therefore integral to building a vibrant and resilient insurance industry. Here, closer to home, Ethiopia is currently undergoing a transformative reform program through its homegrown economic reform agenda, our blueprint designed to restore macroeconomic stability, foster inclusive growth, and unlock the country's full potential. Central to this agenda is our commitment to strengthening the private sector as the engine of growth, innovation, and job creation. We are working to build an open and competitive and transparent economic environment where private investment, domestic and foreign as well, can thrive. As part of this reform, we have already implemented a major shift toward a market-based exchange rate system, moving away from decades of controlled regime. This transition is helping address external imbalances and is also enhancing Ethiopia's trade competitiveness. In the financial sector, we are undertaking bold reforms to modernize the regulatory framework, promote innovation, and improve governance. I am pleased to share that we have already issued a new banking proclamation which allows foreign banks to enter the Ethiopian market, which we consider to be a significant milestone in our effort to modernize our financial sector. Building on this momentum, we are now advancing reforms in the insurance industry as well. A new insurance proclamation is in the pipeline and will soon follow. This legal reform will provide a stronger and more modern foundation for the insurance market in Ethiopia. In addition, we've introduced draft directives on insurance corporate governance and risk-based regulation, both designed to elevate the standards of oversight, enhance transparency, and support the long-term sustainability of the sector. These reforms are critical to align our industry with international best practices while also nurturing local innovation and resilience. As part of our broader institutional strengthening efforts, the government is also in the process of establishing an independent insurance regulatory authority, which is long overdue in my view, which will offer specialized supervision, enhance market confidence, and facilitate the sector's continued growth. Finally, I hope this conference will explore the impact of structural change, such as demographic transition and technology in the insurance industry. In my view, the insurance industry has emerged as one of the earliest and most significant beneficiaries of the artificial intelligence revolution. Insurance is especially well positioned to leverage advanced data analytics and machine learning to price risk more accurately and deliver personalized coverage. AI-driven insurers are using these technologies to offer tailored solutions by analyzing user data such as health metrics and lifestyle habits to dynamically adjust policies and pricing. This digital transformation is already evident in the rapid growth of smaller technology-driven online insurers in developing world, particularly in Asia, and I think we should learn from that experience. As I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize the support of various public institutions without which this event would not have been possible. In particular, I extend my sincere appreciation to the local organizing committee for their exemplary work and leadership in coordinating this remarkable gathering. To all our esteemed guests, I invite you to explore not only the conference agenda, but also the dynamic and rapidly evolving financial landscape of Ethiopia. We stand ready to engage with our African and international partners in deepening insurance penetration, strengthening financial systems, and also building a shared future of opportunity. Once again, I warmly welcome you to Ethiopia. I wish you a fruitful, collaborative, and truly memorable conference experience. Thank you so much. Now, it gives me immense pleasure to invite His Excellency Ato Temesgen Truna, Deputy Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, to give us a keynote address. Excellency.
እንደምን አደራችሁ? Good morning. Your Excellency Ato Mamo Miheretu, Governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia, Your Excellency Madam Patti, President of the African Insurance Organization, distinguished representatives of the African Insurance Organization, participants and invited guests, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to say again, good morning and welcome. It is a great honor. It is a great honor and a real pleasure to welcome you all to Ethiopia. On behalf of our people and government, I extend our warmest greeting to every one of you, our brothers and sisters from across Africa and beyond. We are proud to host the 51st Annual Conference and General Assembly of the African Insurance Organization. This is no ordinary gathering. It brings together more than 1,900 delegates and above from 93 countries, regulators, insurers, reinsurers, policymakers, the full spectrum of our industry. The theme of this year's conference, Balancing the Books, Africans' Debt Problem. Why does a country's debt impact insurers? Could not be more relevant. Around the world, countries are grappling with rising debt and fiscal pressures. For insurers, this is not just background noise. It shapes everything, from the investment climate to asset safety, consumers' demand to economic stability. So, this is a moment to pause, to think, to share ideas, and to chart a path forward together. Insurance in Africa must evolve. It must become more than a peripheral service. It must be a pillar of economic development, a safeguard for families, a driver of credit, a magnet for investment. Here in Ethiopia, we understand the power of reform. We are a nation of 120 million plus people, a growing middle class, a young, dynamic population, and we are in the middle of the historic transformation. Through our homegrown economic reform agenda, we are modernizing our economy. We are improving competitiveness. We are unleashing the private sector. We are building an environment that rewards innovation, encourages trade, and welcomes investment. We are focusing on what we do best: agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, and we are not doing it in a way that is inclusive, sustainable, and built to last. We know this. A strong financial sector is key, and insurance is cornerstone of that. That's why we are taking bold steps. One of them is the creation of an independent insurance regulatory authority. Thank you. This new body will promote innovation. I will ensure effective oversight, and most importantly, it will protect policyholders. We are also opening new doors. Just recently, the government endorsed a new draft proclamation on the use and ownership of immovable property. This move will create room for new financial and insurance solutions in housing, infrastructure, and real estate. So, to the investors in this room, the time to take a close look at Ethiopia is now. Our insurance sectors is still developing. Penetration remains low, but the fundamentals are strong. Our population is young and urbanizing. Our economy is going digital, and our leadership is committed to reform. Ethiopia is ready to become one of Africa's most promising insurance markets. And I want to assure you, our government stands fully behind this journey. Before I close, thank you. Before I close, I want to express our deep appreciation to the African Insurance Organization. For our 5 decades, you have championed this sector and brought people together. I also want to thank the local organizing committee for making this event possible. Your dedication and hard work have not gone unnoticed. To all of our guests and delegates, I encourage you to go beyond the conference rooms. Explore Ethiopia, experience our culture, taste our food, especially injera and dorot, listen to our music, meet our people, And as you walk our streets, remember, you are in one of the oldest civilizations on earth. Lucy. Lucy, the 3.2 million years old hominid, raised here in Addis Ababa. Visit her, visit our museums, and witness a country that honors its past while boldly stepping into the future. I wish you a productive, engaging, and unforgettable conference. May your time here be filled with insight, partnership, and discovery. With that, I declare that the 51st Annual Conference and General Assembly of the African Insurance Organization officially open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Atutamas Kentrona. Can you kindly stay on stage as we recognize some of our speakers? So first off, I would like to invite also the AIO President, Ms. Patty Martin, to also join us on the podium, please.
Let's please clap for her as she makes her way to the podium.
In recognition of the tremendous support we have from National Bank of Ethiopia under the leadership of His Excellency Governor Mamo, AIO, in collaboration with the Association of Ethiopian Insurers, will honor him with an award. Thank you.
All right. The second award.
For the Association of Ethiopian Insurance, we would like to recognize
Yes.
Ato Yared Mola.
Ato Yared Mola, who's humbly accepting the award. This is appreciation for the successful organization of this conference. All right, kindly come a bit forward for a photo
so that
op.
we can take a photo op. Last but not least, we would like to invite the executive committee to all join us on stage for
A
photo opportunity. So kindly, please welcome
The executive
the
committee as they
to
make
the
their way
stage.
to the stage.
Thank you very much. And commissioners as well, kindly join us on stage. As we take pictures, I would like to recognize one of our sponsors, Kenya Re, we were not able to listen to the president's speech earlier. So Kenya Re, we would like to recognize your contribution to this conference.
Right, let's everybody get our phones out to snap a few pictures of this historic moment.
Former presidents and secretary generals of AIO, kindly also join us on stage.
Right, if you could quickly make your way to the stage.
I would like to also recognize Name Insurance from Tanzania, from Nigeria as a sponsor, Name Insurance PLC.
All right, thank you
Thank you
very
very much.
much. All right, we'll ask that everybody be upstanding, as His Excellency the Deputy Prime Minister will have to leave.
For the
So
rest of
let's
you-
clap for them and thank them. All right. And His Excellency Ato Mamo will
For the
also need to leave with him. Let's please clap for them to thank them for their participation, for honoring us with their presence here in today's conference, and for their encouraging remarks. Thank you very much. All right, you can have a seat.
That said, let us welcome our next speakers. We're going to have 2 short presentations, maybe have an opportunity to ask 1 or 2 questions to our presenters. We're going to talk about the African debt burden from our 2 speakers, Ato Sofian Ahmed and Dr. Cornel Kerekezi. We will have at least...
All right, one last round of applause as our guest of honors leave the room. Thank you all so very much. All right.
So we're going to have 2 very short presentations, 30 minutes. So we'll have at least 20 minutes for our speakers and have at least 10 minutes for 1 or 2 questions if we want to ask them. So in order to do that, make sure when you welcome them, clap for them, and when they finish, clap. That way we don't have to say thank you very much for the presentation, and we can go directly to the questions so that they could answer 1 or 2 questions before they leave the stage. So without further ado, our first speaker.
Yes, so our first session is going to be on Africa's debt burden, and our speaker for the first session will be Ato Sofian Ahmed Bakr. I'm going to read a very, very modest bio before I invite my speaker to the stage. Ato Sofian Ahmed Bakr is a seasoned Ethiopian economist and policymaker with over 30 years of experience in public financial management and development policy. He served as Ethiopia's Minister of Finance and Economic Development from 1995 to 2015, playing a key role in shaping the country's economic reforms and growth. He later served as Chief Economic Advisor to the Prime Minister from 2015 to 2017 and was a member of the G20 Eminent Persons Group, co-authoring the 2018 report on global financial reform. He is currently a non-resident fellow at the Center for Global Development and serves as an advisory board for the Center of Disaster Protection and Harvard Ministerial Leadership Program. This is a very, very brief and modest bio of our first speaker for the first session. Let us please welcome Ato Sofian Ahmed to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be part of the 51st Conference and Annual General Assembly of the African Insurance Organization. My sincere thanks to Secretary General Mr. Jean-Baptiste, President Ms. Martin, and the member of the General Assembly for your leadership and appreciation in indicating this year's theme to address one of the most pressing challenges of our time, balancing the book, Africa's debt burden, and for posing the critical question, why does country debt impact insurer? As Ethiopian Minister of Finance for 2 decades, I was responsible for our public spending, taxation, and the debt management. Over that period, I had quite some experience with debt and the risks. I also interact with insurance and reinsurance companies when I was in office, and more recently as a board member of the Center for Disaster Protection, a technical and a policy advisory organization focus on disaster risk finance. So when I received the invitation to be here today to share some of reflection and opportunities with our continent's leading insurance and reinsurance professionals on how countries across the continent should approach debt for specific areas. I would like to begin by focusing on the issue of government debts across Africa, and specifically how access to credit provides an opportunity that is not to contradict with the theme of this meeting, but I will still argue that debt is only a burden if we make it so, that access to credit brings opportunities as well as risks, and that the conversation we have within our continents as well as across Africa needs to be focused on how to address debt issues systematically, constructively, and with a risk-informed perspective, rather than always equating debt with fiscal despair. I will then go on to talk about the big fiscal risks of our day, the risks that come from a changing climate, and how we can approach both the economics and the politics of tackling that. Next, I will stress just how important it is for government to go forward hand in hand with insurance industry on issues around fiscal risk, particularly climate risk. And finally, I will conclude with a set of key messages that I hope you can take forward together as we begin the AIO Conference and Annual General Assembly of this year. Africa's debt burden. Let me begin by looking at the debt landscape of today. According to African Economic Outlook, last year, 20 African countries were at high risk of debt stress. Median public debt stands around 60% of GDP, up from about 30% 15 years ago. The cost of servicing this debt has also doubled since the early 2000s. On the resource mobilization side, the median tax GDP ratio in Africa, which is very important for me from my point of view, is very, very low. It's under 14%, which is far below emerging economies outside of Africa and much far below high-income economies. At the same time, international aid, once significant, is shrinking. In fact, key donors have already announced cuts, and this reduction have affected essential sectors such as health, food security, and education. Some of this may remind historians among you of the sovereign debt crisis in the 1990s and the early 2000s, where debt to GDP ratio across the continent also averaged 60%. However, whilst in the early 2000s, debt relief and restructurings were a key part of the solution, today, our creditors are more diverse. We have moved away from borrowing from traditional Paris Club member countries with more debts toward new non-traditional lenders and private creditors on commercial terms. While government generally welcome range of creditors to diversify external funding source, a more diverse creditors landscape makes debt issue much lower to resolve. This has been the recent experience of several African countries after the COVID-19 pandemic, which have sought to restructure their debt with the G20 Common Framework. This restructuring illustrates a significant challenge in how contemporary restructuring for the low and the middle-income countries work. They are too little, too late, and too complex. But to echo a statement by President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, President of Kenya, William Ruto, and the President of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, we must both reason for solution. As I see it, the solution is simple, not easy, but simple. This solution has three components: recognize opportunities, utilization, and mobilization. Let me go through this in order. First, as I've already signaled, we must recognize that access to credit provides an opportunity. Most countries around the world borrow money from a range of creditors. Yes, debt has to be repaid, and so, in that sense, it is a burden. But debt also gives African countries the ability to invest in growth. The underlying logic of government debt is that the funds borrowed to fund public expenditure and the investment will ultimately be repaid from future government revenues, including those generated by higher growth rates facilitated by the borrowing themselves. In 2024, half of the world's top 20 fastest growing economies were Africans, a trend sustained for more than a decade. That growth and the economic transformation it is bringing is fueled by investment. Yes, much of this investment is private investment, but this investment would not be flowing without the significant public investment needed in an enabling environment for growth. Such growth would not be possible if those countries were not able to borrow. Given these statistics, I am most concerned about countries and the firms that are credit constrained rather than those that are not. This includes entrepreneurs who cannot invest in their businesses, farmers who cannot borrow to invest in their farms, and governments who cannot make the capital investment needed for growth. So, if we recognize the access to credits an opportunity, how do we make the most of it? This brings me to the second part of the solution, utilization. The IMF's rule of thumb is that government capital expenditure, which is often defined to be public investment, yields twice the long-term boost to the economy as spending on consumption. Now, this is only a rule of thumb, and obviously the precise details of the investment matters. But the principle is important. Well-prepared and efficiently executed government capital investments are crucial to growth, such as expenditure on infrastructure, new universities and schools, and a new hospital, and we must ensure that investing in economic development has political support. As finance minister, I had to walk this tightrope for many years, and some of the challenging decisions were when I had to cut our capital investment budget to respond to shocks such as the financial crisis of 2008 or for significant drought. Response to shocks is needed, but If funded entirely by reallocating away from capital investment, it can be costly indeed. My third point is that debt cannot be the only way countries mobilize resources. Debt is not free money. You must repay with interest. Governments that want sustainable public finance need to increase tax revenue. As I've already said, most African governments currently collect less than 40% of GDP in tax revenue. In fact, in most countries, it is even much below. We have an opportunity to increase this domestic resource mobilization, can contribute to effort to reduce poverty and inequality, ensure the provision of quality health and education services, and strengthen infrastructure to support inclusive growth. And with declining aid budget, increasing domestic resource utilization needs to be a much bigger part of the conversation on how we fund investment in our economies. If we want economic growth, the private sector is crucial, but it cannot do it all alone. Government investment is also needed. This is the approach Ethiopia is taking to significantly increase the tax GDP ratio. So, in conclusion, I would like to constructively challenge framing around the debt as a burden and the focus on its opportunities, such as financing much needed investment in our growth and development. Of course, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, and there are risks associated with accumulating too much debt. But debt should not be taboo. We must borrow to invest in growth, and we must increase resource mobilization. If we do this, then the AIO's core theme of this year, the books can be balanced. Second, fiscal risk and the impact of climate change. This leads me to the second part of what I want to consider today around fiscal risk. That is risks to government spending and taxation. While I am optimistic about Africa's potential, we do face risks, and how we confront them could define the next decades. The planet is warming, and the nature is holding us accountable. Many parts of our continent are warming at a faster rate than the global average. And we are already witnessing an increase in extreme events such as heat waves, heavy precipitation, drought, and tropical cyclones. Risks and the related losses and the damages from the climate change will escalate with every further increment of global warming. As you know, one of the biggest threats is how climate change will exacerbate the vulnerability of agricultural system, which employ 55% of the workforce across the continent. Agriculture system in semi-arid areas and the land will be particularly impacting, as will reduce cereal crop productivity, including maize and wheat, with adverse effect on food security and livelihood. So how should we adapt? Africa did not cause climate change. We contribute less than 4% of total global emission cumulatively, and we alone cannot